Hello, this is Michael Joseph, curator of A Portable Constant Obsession, the book art of Karen Guancione. And behind me is one of the cases that Karen has installed. Unlike all of the other shows that we've had at the library, and I would hazard to say all other library shows, Karen Guancione installed every case here. No librarians were hurt during the installation of the show, but no librarians were involved either. So the artifacts and the books and the cases are all hers, and they're independent works. But the cases themselves are installations, and they also are independent works. Now in this case, we have her hanging aquilone, for which she has used tags and catalog cards. And the tags represent her interest in hidden labor. A large part of her work is about social justice issues. And one of those social justice issues is the invisibility of laborers, such as garment workers. Generally speaking, female garment workers who make beautiful clothes and whose efforts are exploited and whose names are not known and whose work is underappreciated. So by foregrounding the tags in her exhibitions, she tries to draw attention to the handmade garments and the people whose expertise and whose time fabricated them. The catalog cards may be also a way of focusing attention on the unknown librarians who make collections accessible. But it also, and more likely, this is the motivation for it, focuses on the exhilaration of books and the exhilaration of being involved in bookmaking. The catalog cards are, as you know, obsolete instruments in the library. They used to be used for accessing the collections. And when Karen began to install her show at Rutgers, she thought it might be nice to add catalog cards to her hanging installation. And so we solicited catalog cards from the librarians at Rutgers, and were amazed to see how many of them had squirreled cards away. One would have thought that there'd be no more, since there was no more use for cards, nobody would be holding them any longer. They would have been discarded. But instead, there are all these pockets of catalog cards that these nostalgic catalog librarians and reference librarians had stored away for old time's sake. So those caches suggested that they had a sentimental attachment to their own work and to the culture of the library. And Karen decided to foreground that, to make that available for viewing. Not to point out their nostalgia, but to point at the joy and exhilaration of working with books. That was the basis for that nostalgia. The most conspicuous element in this case, of course, is the dress that Karen hung from the top of the case and painted in bright white, blue, gray, red, and gold stripes. When we look at the books later in the show, you will see that stripes are a really dominant motif in Karen's work. And of course, you'll also see aspects of her interest in fiber art, which she studied at Syracuse University, and her interest in embroidery.